Hi, it's Jo Natoli here from the Rental Specialists. Today we're having a conversation about the 5 things that a notice of termination needs in order to be a valid notice of termination. Now the first thing is it needs to be in writing. No text messages, you can't ring the tenants and just give them notice over the phone. That's simply not acceptable. You have to put it in writing either and send it by post or by email, but you can only send it by email if the tenant has previously given you written permission to send notices and correspondence to them by email. The second thing is it must be signed by the landlord or the landlord's property management agency. It's got to be signed. If it's not signed, it's not a valid notice. The third thing is it must be properly addressed to the tenant. So if the lease is for Mr. Andrew Smith and Mrs. Amelia Smith, then the notice has to read Mr. Andrew Smith and Mrs. Emilia Smith. It shouldn't read Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It should be word for word exactly as the lease agreement says. Then there will be no problems. The fourth thing a notice needs is it needs a date that the termination notice becomes effective, i.e. the date that the tenant has to move out and provide vacant possession. Now, there are different dates for different reasons for the notices, and you need to understand what they are. And if you're posting the notice to the tenant, you also need to allow a few extra days for postage delivery. So you need to understand that as well. The fifth and final thing that a notice needs in order to be a valid notice is the reason why you're providing the notice. Whether you're selling the property, whether they've breached the agreement for non-payment of rent, you have to actually stipulate the grounds that have brought about the notice and be very clear about it, and that way there can be no misunderstanding. So they're the 5 things that a notice of termination needs in order to be a proper notice of termination. I hope this helps. Have a great day. Bye.